Every morning, millions of us repeat the exact same routine. We step outside into the bright daylight, wince, and immediately slide on a pair of dark, polarized sunglasses. We tell ourselves we're protecting our eyes, and we like the way it looks. But jump ahead a few hours, and you are staring at your steering wheel or your computer screen in a complete fog. By 2 o'clock in the afternoon, your energy crashes completely. This fatigue happens because of a fundamental sensor error. By shielding your eyes with dark plastic the second you step into the morning light, you are actively blinding your body's master internal clock. While your environment moves into the morning, your internal timing stays pinned to the middle of the night. You are forcing your brain to operate in one time zone while your body exists in another. If you are constantly exhausted, the issue likely isn't your mattress or your caffeine tolerance. You are dealing with a hardware failure, triggered by placing a physical blockade over your primary biological sensors at the exact moment they need to be active. To understand why this happens, we have to look at the eyes as more than just cameras. Embryologically, your eyes are pieces of brain tissue that pushed outward from the skull so they could catch light and relay data back to the core. Tucked deep in the dark vault of your skull is the suprachiasmatic nucleus, or SCN. This tiny cluster of cells is your body's master clock. It controls your metabolism, your alertness, and your temperature, but it operates in total darkness, relying entirely on the data it receives from your retina. The system requires a specific trigger. When raw, unfiltered morning photons hit your retina, they fire a massive electrical spike straight back to the SCN. That spike initiates your entire daily boot-up sequence. It commands your system to shut down your sleep hormones and immediately releases a powerful wave of serotonin and cortisol to wake you up. Introducing sunglasses at 8 a.m. severs this connection. The lenses filter out the specific light wavelengths required to fire the trigger. Instead of a bright morning, your brain processes a dark, cloudy twilight. When that biological starting gun never fires, your brain's daytime software remains dormant while you try to go about your day. Modern clinical science mapped the SCN and these biological pathways in the 1970s, but ancient human sciences understood this mechanical tether thousands of years earlier. In Ayurveda, the eyes are governed by a specific sub-energy called alochika pitta, the fire of visual perception. This system observed that a human's internal metabolic fire is directly tethered to the external fire of the sun, with the naked eye acting as the bridge. Blocking that morning sunlight severs the solar tether. Your body responds by dropping its core temperature and slowing your digestion, leaving you physically sluggish despite the time of day. This leads to a secondary failure in your sleep cycle. Melatonin, the chemical that puts you to sleep at night, is built directly from the serotonin your body produces during the day. If you starve your brain of raw morning sunlight, you fail to create that initial serotonin spike. When bedtime arrives 14 hours later, your body has zero raw materials available to build melatonin. The factory is essentially shut down. The lethargy you feel at 2 p.m. and the anxiety you feel at midnight are two ends of the same broken feedback loop, caused by wearing dark plastic over your eyes at 8 a.m. Swallowing synthetic sleep gummies or drinking 300 milligrams of caffeine are useless workarounds. You cannot out-supplement a primary sensor input failure. Recalibrating the system requires Rule 1, the first 20 minutes. Within a half hour of waking up, you must expose your naked, unshielded eyes to natural sunlight for at least 10 to 20 minutes. You do not stare directly into the sun, you just look toward the bright horizon. This means avoiding windows, sunglasses, or UV-filtered contact lenses. You need raw, unfiltered photons to hit the SCN. If you must drive into a blinding glare, prioritize road safety. But use Rule 2, the commute delay. Give yourself 5 minutes of raw exposure outside before you put your sunglasses on and get behind the wheel. Finally, use Rule 3. On overcast days, cloud cover scatters light, drastically lowering the density of the photons hitting your retina. Because the signal is weaker, you need 30 minutes of outside time to provide the brain with the same data it gets in 10 minutes on a sunny day. Maintaining your biological rhythm requires consistent, raw photon data. Your eyes are the primary intake system for the energy that drives your metabolic alertness. Syncing with your evolutionary environment begins by letting the light in. Tomorrow morning, leave the shades on the counter and allow your internal systems to boot up correctly.